What's up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf here, and man, I gotta tell you, I screwed up on something pretty bad today. Jeff and I just did a new rundown for this week, and when we did the recording, I didn't adjust the camera, and unfortunately, it's focused on our background, and he and I are a little blurry in the foreground, and then also, I don't know what happened, something with my microphone, and the thing got turned off in the process of us setting up for the show. So, we take pride in our audio and video quality around here at Raiders Fan Radio, but unfortunately, this one has missed the mark, so you have to pardon with us a little bit, please, on that, and but if you're still inclined to check it out, please do. We had a lot of fun. It was a great show. First day of training camp here today. So we really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you do too if you check it out. We just wanted to tell you that on the front end that it kind of looks and sounds a little ass, especially when I'm on the microphone. But anyways, love you guys. Talk to you soon. Go Raiders. Hi. You intro us today.
Okay.
Go.
I was going to say, why? Thank you, Brent Musburger. Hey, boys and girls. No, it's terrible.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, motherfuckers. What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Swag Jeff with my buddy Murf to my left here, and this is what we call the Raiders Fan Radio Rundown, where it's not a live show, but we still want to talk with you. We want to hang out with you, all that good stuff, because we got some stuff to talk about. New shit's come to light, right?
The Raiders are in camp, bro. Let's go, man.
The season has officially begun, right?
Absolutely. So appreciate you joining us, Raider Nation. We are here at the Intermountain Healthcare office, otherwise known as
Murf's Fan Office.
My fan office. So as Swag Jeff said, we're going to take you for a tour around the house. And so here we are in my office while we're still waiting to sell my stupid house. But Fan Cave 2.0, though, is still loading. We're going to get there eventually, but still got another week that, we're still cooking the books.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not cooking the books.
That sounds bad.
Right. Well, cooking the books, that's what like tax accountants do.
Yeah.
I cook the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't cook the books.
Not cooking books. No. Joel would be on our ass.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Joel would be kicking our ass.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I meant like in the books, but it's still cooking. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Let me just shut up and just go ahead and jump into this episode of the Raiders Fan Radio Rundown.
Let's do that.
Where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. If you're new to the show, we take our fandom pretty damn seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. And so we just like to have a lot of fun, talk about the Raiders, talk about our favorite football team. Normally we do this show live on Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Myself and Jeff, and then our other best friend, Michelle. We're going to be getting back into live shows soon.
Yes.
But again, as we've been kind of pending through this whole studio change here, it's kind of put a little bit of a hamper in our live shows, but we're going to get back to it very, very soon.
Or a damper.
What did I say? A hamper?
You said a hamper.
I'm a mess, bro.
Yeah, we got dirty clothes and shit. We're cooking the books in the hamper.
Money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I don't know. Speaking of which, we have a nonprofit, the One Nation Foundation.
Do we?
Ooh. Heel turn. But hey, but we do have one of those. We have a nonprofit that we give to several great folks, primarily the Bolitnikoff Foundation, which we're hoping to present them a check for $15,000 at the end of the year or in November. But we've also donated to the Raider Dad folks, and we're only a few weeks away. Like we said, camp has begun. The season has officially begun, and preseason is like right around the corner. So we'll be August 13th is the Raider Dad preseason tailgate event where we're bringing along I think 25 families. I think it's even more now. So we've talked to Josh and all that stuff over at Raider Dad, and great folks over there. And so we're excited to be able to represent Raider Nation, represent Raiders Fan Radio, the One Nation Foundation, all that stuff at that event. And it's because your generous giving that we're able to do those kinds of things. So much respect to each and every one of you. And speaking of respect.
Yeah, well, I want to give respect to a few folks, but
yeah.
But let me start off by saying this too, Jeff. We set our goal for $15,000 this year to raise money for the Blitnikoff Foundation. As Jeff said, we already gave $2,000 to the Raider Dad folks, and 100% all that money comes from our listening audience. Excuse me. Comes from you, Raider Nation, and your amazing generosity. And even those of you that can't donate directly monetarily, your sharing, your likes, your retweets. I'm going to get all these words out eventually.
Yeah.
All that stuff, man, all helps us because it generates advertising opportunities. We've had our first set of corporate sponsors coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We've got advertising coming up with Caesar Sportsbook again. And we are literally waiting on the phone to ring on 2 different deals today, Raider Nation, that if we ink these 2 deals in the way that what we think that these things could be, we have the potential to not only with your generosity, but the generosity of these other folks and companies, we have a chance to lock in our funding for the next 2 years.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
absolutely, these are
unbelievable.
Game-changing deals could be happening, and it's all because of you. You know, they're building on what you started. So I mean, we couldn't do this without you, and to get attention of some of these other folks that are willing to give in the ways that they might give.
You out there repping the One Nation Foundation.
100%.
They see it in the chats and in the, you know what I mean? So folks have taken notice of what our listening audience has done, and so we can't respect you enough and applaud you enough for what you've done, because it's not about what you've done for even the foundation or for us. What it is about is that what you've done for the kids that we're going to take to the Raider game with Raider Dad.
Yes.
The young women that are impacted by the Blitnikoff Foundation and the work that they do offering rehabilitative services and counseling services for young women at risk of domestic violence and substance abuse. That's what it's all about. And so that's what you've done. You've literally made positive changes in people's lives, and most of it young people.
100%. And if you have the opportunity to go to the Blitnikoff event every year that they do, the Crab Fest that Fred and Angela put on, it's absolutely a phenomenal event. You just get such good feelings in your heart when they actually break down and say, hey, if you donate $100, you're giving all these girls toothpaste, and you go a step forward, you're giving them a bed to sleep on, and you're giving them this, and like they kept going on and on and on to like the $10,000 level. Like you're literally like, we're building a wing of the Blitnikoff Center of Hope in your name and stuff like that. So it's just really, really cool to see the boots on the ground and the work that, they're doing, and that we can be a small part of that, and you can be a part of that as well. So it's an amazing thing.
Absolutely. So much respect to you all very much, and thank you. And for those of you that are tuning in maybe for the first time and going, "Are these guys going to talk about the Raiders?" Yes, we're going to talk about the Raiders, but we always want to acknowledge what our nonprofit is doing, what the foundation is doing, and what those that are enabling us to take action through the foundation. We always want to highlight that first and give respect to that first. Because Raiders Fan Radio and what we do around here is now designed to uplift and support the One Nation Foundation.
100%.
That's it. We'll get to the Raiders stuff, but at the top of the show here, we're gonna highlight what's going on with the foundation, and frankly, too, I think this, Jeff. For those of you and we have some significant donors and consistent donors. You know what I mean? Where every time we do a show, there's folks in there that are signing up for Raiders Fan Radio memberships, or they're throwing out the super chats, or they're sending us PayPal donations.
Yep.
They're buying our merch. All that stuff. I want them to know what's up with their money.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's a big deal for people to shell out, you know what I mean, monetary donations.
Yeah, we want to be transparent with where the money's going, all that stuff, whether it be merch sales, any of that, super chats, direct PayPal donations, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, we want to let you know where it's going, because, and like you said, to kind of piggyback off of what you said, if you're tuning in late, this is your first time, whatever, this is Raider Nation. Like, and that's family, man. So, so first things first, when the family walks through the door, you get caught up on what's going on in the family, so before we start talking about the other shit, we feel, what's going on with our lives. So that's what we're doing right here.
Yeah. How's your kids in that?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Yeah. So anyway, so thank you, Raider Nation, again. And I always say this too, we could spend an entire show of us just sitting around being generous, gosh dang it, us having gratitude.
Bragging on your generosity.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, I'm a mumble mouth today. But anyways, so thank you very, very much.
Yep.
And so next up,
Yeah.
On the heels of that.
Well, we like to give respect, right? We don't do props. We don't do shout outs. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But we're here. We're Italian, and we're going to give a little bit of respect. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So we have a couple people we want to give respect to. So, first and foremost, our buddies, man. Scott and Mo, man. Silver and Black today. We want to give them much, much respect. So if you tuned into their last show, first off, I just want to say, if you're not listening to Silver and Black today, you're doing your fandom wrong. Like, you really need, because they got great takes. I mean, Mo is maybe one of the smartest football minds that I've listened to on a podcast.
That shit that he was pulling out about, like, when you can renegotiate contracts and all that kind of, like, because, it was the PUP list.
Yes.
And Scott was like, well, wait a minute, if you designate somebody, but then they come back on, and so that means, and Mo was like, knew all that stuff.
And Scott was busting his chops going, oh, well, you study this every night, don't you, before bed? You know?
But what a wealth of knowledge, man. But so, yeah, that show is incredible. So Scott and Mo, much props to just the quality of the show that you guys produce. You know?
Yeah. And there's a collab that's going to be coming very soon with Mo and Scott and the Raiders Fan Radio crew as well.
I'm going to join them after the game.
Oh, you sure are.
Coming up here for the preseason game.
Absolutely.
After the Niners game.
Absolutely.
I'll be joining them back there on Silver and Black today. So those guys, want to give them respect. It's some incredibly kind words, not only about our show, most importantly about the foundation, but then also Scott announced on the show that anything that they do on YouTube in terms of super chats, they're donating 100% of that to us in the One Nation.
Respect.
I mean,
respect. That's unbelievable.
Because I just listen to their show anyways.
Sure.
It's like one of the only Raiders shows I listen to, just because I don't want other people's opinions to be my opinion. So as much as we love a lot of our fellow people that are in this space, most of you, I don't listen to you. It ain't because I don't love you. It's just because I don't.
Yeah, but we pop in and we give respect and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we don't want their show to become our show.
Yeah, well, I don't like people that I highly respect, like Graf, right? I respect his takes. He's got great takes. I love his fire, his energy, his passion, all the things, the way he represents Raider Nation. Well, I would hate for him to be talking about a thing on his show, and then us get on our show, turn on our microphones, and then I'm just like regurgitating some of the things that he says. I don't ever want to do that.
Sure.
Anyway, so I rarely listen to Raider stuff. But Silver Black today is a must listen for me. So in the course of listening to this latest episode, when they got to that third segment and rained down all that positivity on us and the foundation, and that announcement that they were going to give that money away to the foundation, that just
hits you right in the feels, man. Yeah.
Thank you guys so very, very much. Can't appreciate you enough.
Absolutely. So the last portion of respect that we want to give, of course, is to our, like you mentioned just a minute ago, our corporate sponsor. Yeah. Our first corporate sponsor. If you need anything from trailers to scissor lifts or anything like that, we want to give respect to our good friends over at United Rentals. Absolutely. So United Rentals, do that shit.
All right, welcome back to the Rundown. I am Murf. This is my co-host, my best friend and yours, Swag Jeff, and we are here to talk about the Raiders. And you can't talk about the Raiders in the absence of talking about Derek Carr. That void has been filled by who?
Josh Jacobs, right?
Yeah. We used to joke on the show that nothing brings him in like talking about Derek Carr, because you want to talk about gaining a freaking someone. You want a Raiders fan's opinion. Ask them about how they feel about Derek Carr.
Holy cow.
No matter what side of the fence they come out on.
They passionate as hell about that shit.
Passionate as hell. Or even if they're indifferent, they just passionate as
oh, yeah.
About that too. You could say the same thing about this whole Josh Jacobs thing and where this thing is going. I thought it was going to kind of quiet down until there was this thing where Josh has been spotted boarding an airplane, leaving Las Vegas, like Sheryl Crow and Nick Cage and Elizabeth Shue, everybody leaving Las Vegas, and he said he was not planning to return anytime soon. So, of course, you have one side of Raider fan goes, well, that's it, he's gone. And then you have other side of Raider fan goes, yeah, he'll be gone until the preseason. Until
week one.
We've been saying all along, that's probably what was going to happen. No surprise there. The dude's not going to be hanging out in Las Vegas. He doesn't want to be there. It's a way to send a message. He goes home, he kicks it with the family, keeps his body healthy, and then he'll show up when it's time, when he absolutely has to collect that, week 1 game check.
There you go.
That's the way this thing is going to go down. I don't think it's that big of a deal at all. Anything extra there you got?
No, I don't think so. You see earlier this week, you say Saquon Barkley has signed his, or I don't guess he signed his, because we looked it up before because we're just stupid fans.
We don't know like Mo.
We don't know like Mo. So, Midtown Mo is now.
Well, because there was like Bo knows.
Mo knows.
Mo knows.
Wow.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go, guys. That one's for free.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But so we looked it up. And so I guess, because everyone said that timeline or that deadline or whatever to sign Josh Jacobs, for Saquon to sign his deal or whatever was last week or whatever that
July
wasn't.
17th.
And it came and went and all that good stuff. But you come to find out now that you can still renegotiate for 1-year deals. You can't go to those multiple year deals. So Saquon signed a deal. It's worth up to $11 million. He got a $2 million signing bonus. All the incentives could make up to $11 million. So, so now the pressure's on Josh Jacobs because everyone else has kind of signed their thing. Everyone else is playing ball. So now Josh is
Dick Cook's still out there. There's still some other free agents.
Yeah, but he wasn't holding out. He's just a free agent. So Josh is now the only one out of that group that's kind of still holding out. So I fully expect by week 1, he's going to be around. He doesn't want to be in that 115, 120 degree weather in Las Vegas for training camp when they're not going to play him anyway, all that stuff. He's going to show up, like you said, right before week 1, they're going to sign a deal. He'll get a, $12 million 1-year deal and be done with it. And then,
or not, or play on the franchise tag,
or sit out. I mean,
and here's the thing, though. And if I'm the Raiders, the Raiders just have all the leverage on this thing, man.
They do.
I get why the Giants did what they did to get him into camp. I get it, but I also get the idea if the Raiders just go, no, why would we charge an additional $2 million onto our, onto our salary cap if we don't have to, It's kind of like a game of chicken or a Mexican standoff. It's like, who's going to go first? You know what I mean? But the Raiders have all the leverage because if he sits out, I'm telling you, Raider Nation, he ain't missing game checks, man.
Nope, I don't think so either.
Because you can't, if you squander $10 million, okay, that means to make that $10 million, that means that you have to get a contract. Say he gets a contract that's $12 million a year, okay? That's 5 years he has to play above and beyond to earn back to get even. So it's not going to happen. So,
right.
And the Raiders know it's not going to happen like that. So he just has no leverage, man. And I feel for him. And you highlighted this in the press conferences today. And we're going to talk about the pressers in a minute. But both Max and Devontae reiterated, and these are your 2 leaders of the Raiders, by the way. It's I wouldn't even say it's on one side of the ball or the other. Maybe it is, or maybe they're just co-leader. Whatever it is.
It's the 2 leaders of the team.
No doubt that these are your 2 leaders of the team. Both of these guys, in different ways, said the same thing. We understand where Josh and these other guys want to get paid. We also understand where the market is, and we can't do anything about that.
Yep.
So, to me, the way that I'm taking that is, okay, make your point, but when it's go time, you better
show up.
Here.
You better be here. Yeah, 100%. And like you said, we heard Devontae on the Dan Patrick show last week talk about that, and today in the presser, Max did the same thing. He said, we're not in charge of the market right now. The teams are valuing the running back position different than what they did in years past, and that is unfortunate. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? So is he going to show up and play, or is he not? So and yeah, I think at the end of the day, he'll be here and he'll ball out, and then if he goes and gets a bag somewhere else, then go for it. But if the market is still where it is, which it will be, the franchise tag will be a little bit higher now that, 12, 13 million probably, but he's not really going to get a whole lot left in his career because the CBA is up in 2030. So
it ain't coming up anytime soon.
He ain't going to be his prime in 2030. Right. His opportunity for the bag when that happens ain't going to be there. So, and they can hold out and be mad and all that stuff. The CBA isn't going to come together any earlier than 2030. The end.
The end. The end.
So,
and I think it was Mo made a good point that when it comes to redoing the CBA, the safeties in the league don't give a shit what happens to running backs. They're interested in what's in it for the safeties. Quarterbacks are in it for the quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's a brotherhood and all that, but at the same time, it ain't show friends, it's show business. And they want what's best collectively for the league. That's why it's called the collective bargaining agreement.
There you go.
It ain't the running back agreement. And obviously, with Saquon, re-upping for this 1-year deal, that whole idea of them being like a band of running backs that were going to make a statement. Yeah, he made a statement, all right.
Yeah, money talks, and now Josh Jacobs is standing alone. That's a great point. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, there you go. So that's it on Josh Jacobs. Let us know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Put it in the YouTube chat. Tweet us. I'm at _Murf. You're what? _Swag Jeff?
Yes.
And so hit us up on the Twitters. Let us know your thoughts, man, because we want the show to be conversational. It's one that's at its best, and we want to hear your opinions. We don't sit up here and try to pretend like we're right. We just kind of tell you what a couple of knucklehead fans in the Intermountain Healthcare office, think about some of these scenarios. All right, but speaking of players that are there, Swag Jeff, dude, we got a good one this
Dude, I'm fired up, man.
I'm fired up, and we're talking about number 24, Oakland's own Marcus freaking Peters.
Let's go.
Signs his deal for 1 year, $5 million in an A's lid, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, that was badass.
That was fucking badass.
Yeah.
That was freaking cool. And I loved it when they asked him, because they always ask those players when they do their signing, do you have a message for Raider Nation? And he's like, yeah, simple as this. Just win, baby.
There it is.
He knows it. This is in his blood.
Yep.
Like, you got to love it. Our buddy Graff on Twitter said, as being a Northern California guy, it kind of hits you a certain way when you see one of our own get signed. You know what I mean? And I'm a Northern California guy. Just to see that happen, like, it's really cool. It's like when we signed Devontae.
I'm 100%.
This guy was a freaking, Raider fan growing up. When we signed Deshaun Jackson, I thought the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love that idea. Now, and I know it's not all about that stuff, but there's a little bit of loyalty, I think, that comes into play. And I think that when it comes down to it, when these guys have different decisions to make, they've wanted to be Raiders their whole life.
100%.
And I get it why some aren't at different stages and all that. I get it, because you can't control that kind of stuff, and you're going to only represent the team that you're playing for. But when they have a choice, it's kind of cool. Marshawn Lynch to come and be a Raider.
100%. 100%. And speaking of Marshawn and stuff like that, I mean, like, I just kind of want to talk for just a second about the reverence of number 24 and what that means to the Raiders organization. It's arguably the most important number in Raider history, right? I mean, you could say 12, you'd say 12, but like 12, 32, but like 24 is way, way, way up there, and so, well, because some of the greats have worn that and donned it and have been the best ambassadors of Raider Nation that we've ever seen. Guys like Willie Brown, Charles Woodson, Marshawn Lynch, all that stuff. Michael Huff is no slouch, but much respect. But but the polarizing one last time, the last guy to wear 24 was a guy that some people were like, yes, that's the guy to embrace that and to honor 24, and some people didn't. Some people,
I thought he was gonna, because I thought he was harking back to a previous time. Yeah, I thought that he was gonna be an old school Raider.
Yeah. Well, instead he followed someone down to Nolans, But anyway, but what a refreshing, just a drink of cold water it is to be able to see Marcus Peters now to, like, not only embrace Raider Nation, but to embrace that 24. I'm really looking.
He knows what that
number means. Yeah, and absolutely.
Marshawn's his cousin.
Well, yeah.
It's so cool, man. I think that's awesome.
Well, and you said he was neighbors with Devontae pretty much. I mean, just right down the street, I mean, so they grew up with each other and stuff like that.
They've known each other for a long time. And who was it that said they had the same age? Oh, no, it was Max.
Max does, yeah.
That him and Marcus had the same age, so he's known Marcus a long time.
Yes.
But I got to imagine, again, going back to it, as much as these guys will train together in the off seasons and all that kind of stuff, I can't imagine that a guy from East Palo Alto and a guy from Oakland who ever, a shared reverence for the Raiders haven't, you know what I mean?
They cross paths, yeah.
Absolutely. So speaking of Mark, I love it that he has come out of the gate talking shit to Devontae Adams. I love that.
100%.
We talked about that in the
Yep.
in the presser today, that they're already chirping each other, which is awesome. Jimmy Garoppolo and Max Crosby are already chirping each other.
Yep.
If you didn't get a chance to see the press conferences today, and well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk a little bit more about Marcus Peters, and then let's talk about the rest of the press conferences. I think this was a huge signing for us, not only for his ability to ball hawk, because we haven't had, even if we've had our defense be effective in glimpses, we've not had timely turnovers. We've missed Khalil Mack strip sacking dudes. We've missed players that can intercept passes and create turnovers in that way. And you don't have to be a top 10 defense in terms of yardage and all that kind of stuff when you can just get the ball back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, creating turnovers is one of the most impactful things you can do. When you look at plus and minus and takeaways, that is a huge indicator of how successful your football team is going to be. Arguably one of the biggest. I mean, it's up there with points for and points against and like those things. Like, those are massive. The idea that you can, the Raiders give up, the X amount of yards per game. It doesn't matter. If you think about, it just doesn't matter.
Right.
When you think about, the old, and I know people hate it when I bring them up, but you think about the old Patriots teams, and I mean, when I say old, I mean, in their freaking, early, 2010s.
Sure.
Right in there, and when they're in their wheelhouse, right?
Sure.
A lot of times had defenses that gave up big yards. But what did they do? Stephon Gilmore, they got the ball back, and they didn't let you score in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's
it.
it.
Malcolm Butler.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Could be the epitome of that idea right there.
Yeah.
That Malcolm Butler is definitively what I'm talking about. That's what we want to have. So with a guy like Marcus Peters, you not only get that in his playmaking ability, then save me the idea that he had a down year last year. He was coming off a knee injury.
100%.
Change of defensive coordinator. He's much, much stronger in man-to-man than he is in zone. And Patrick Graham knows that. These guys know that. So they're going to know what's up and how to play him. So I think he's going to have a bounce-back year, considering where he was last year. And I always say you never judge a guy coming off an injury.
Heck no.
Never. You never can.
Nope.
So anyway, so all that said, not only is he going to have that playmaking ability, what a perfect mentor for Christopher Smith.
Yep. Jacorian Bennett. Yep. 100%.
That's what's going to be awesome. His leadership, which is already being talked about, his ability to be a dog, to demonstrate what it is to these guys, what a championship mentality looks like.
Yep.
What a work ethic looks like. What that dog looks like. That is going to be such a huge impact on our secondary. Plus, you add his leadership, as I mentioned, leadership to the younger guys in the secondary, but the whole defense in general. I know Max is the guy on defense, but to have somebody like that veteran, been there, got the, you know what I mean?
Yes.
On the field,
Yes.
got the hardware. A guy like that, it's such a huge impact. It's kind of what Daron Harmon brought last year.
Yes.
But Marcus Peters is way more, at least as a fan, and I don't know what these guys are like in the locker rooms, but my take on it, he's much more demonstrative than Daron Harmon.
Oh, for sure. Marcus, he reminds me of an old school Raider. You know what I mean? He's got that attitude. He's got that swagger. He ain't afraid to showboat a little bit and stuff like that. And we saw that firsthand on a couple different occasions. You know what I mean? So to have him on our team, exactly.
On the way to the end zone, picking off Derek Carr.
Exactly. But I think he makes the whole cornerback room better. And I want to give respect to our good buddy Canetown Raider. So he does shows with Hammer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Good guy. Much respect to him. So he posed a question to me on Twitter the other day and said, "Hey, what's your top 6 corner room? Who's going to be the 6 corners that make the team?" So, and I was like, wow, that's a good question, because you think, and a lot of people you hear, they didn't do enough to address the defense, and corner was one of those spots, right. Secondary, they didn't do a whole lot to address those things.
Okay,
but
can I take a shot at it? You tell me how many are on your list.
Okay, go.
Can we do that?
Sure.
Marcus Peters.
Yes.
Jacorian Bennett.
Yes.
Nate Hobbs.
Yes.
Duke Shelley.
He was on my maybe.
He's on your maybe.
Yeah.
Who's more of the guy inside? The guy, what's his name? I'm blanking.
Fassion?
No, the other guy plays inside.
Oh, Amik?
No.
Long? David Long?
No.
Oh, Tyler Hall.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was on my list.
He was on your list. Okay. How many do I got so far?
You've got well, I said a couple of the other ones. So, yeah. So you got them all.
I got them all.
You got them all. So yeah. So I put Peters, Hobbs, Jacorian Bennett, Brandon Fassion, Tyler Hall, and that 6th spot is tricky. You got a Meek, you got Duke Shelley, and you got David Long. And so you look at that room, you look at that corner room right now, and you kind of sit back and look, and you're like, wow, we added a lot of pieces to the corner room. You like a ton, because when you look at that list and you see the 6th spot that, like unfortunately a guy like a Meek Robertson, he might be gone. He might be gone because, because that position is so deep now. When you look at last year, Meek was like a starter.
On the outside.
He was going up against Jerry Jeudy and all that kind of stuff. So you look at a guy like that and you look at that room now and you're like, okay, I see you. And they're all young, man. And then you add all these young safeties that we've got. You got Marcus Epps, who's an experienced guy, but still on the younger side of his career. You still got, Merrick, and you've got now Chris Smith and all that stuff. Exactly. And like you said, he's another guy. He's learning a new defensive system and all that stuff. He's going to bounce back big time. A lot of these guys are, dude. I'm telling you, man. And here's
okay. Say it. Okay. Said it earlier.
I said it earlier, man. I'm going to say this, man. You look at the defense. You look at the offensive pieces that we've got to we've added a lot of pieces, a lot of McDaniel pieces that I think are crucial. And let's not stick our nose up at the fact that McDaniels is getting his crew. He's getting his guys to run his offense. And I'm telling you, man, this season might be special. I think we might make a little run. And that's my hot take, and I'm going to stick by it all season long until we start 0-6 or whatever, and then maybe I won't. But I'm telling you right now, day 2 or day 1 or whatever of training camp, look out for the 2023 Raiders, man. They're sleeping on us big time. Ain't no one giving us a chance. And we're the lighter side journey into the dark side here at Raiders Fan Radio. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of light to look at right now, because I'm telling you, I think that this team is going to do some very special things. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play all 17 games this year, and he is like, I'm telling you, man, I'm so fired up for Jimmy G. And we're going to talk about him in just a minute, man, but just the dynamic that he brings to this team that was different than the quarterback of the past. I'm telling you, man, it's a drink of fresh water, man. I love it.
Well, and let's just jump into it.
Okay.
Because it was because I've been tiptoeing around this offseason like most of us fans in terms of the level of my optimism. Like, there are some things where I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then there are some things I'm like, okay, well, did Bob Spillane fire anybody up? Or like, what are we doing here? Like, can we trust what Divine Diablo's size and level of experience, is that going to be enough? Is Jerry Tillery going to be able to lock up the inside? Byron Young starts off on was it the PUP list or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to come back to start? Tyree Wilson not being out there right away, and going to have to come in rotation maybe at best for Chandler Jones. Is that enough? And, so there's a lot of things that we could be critical. You look at the success of Jimmy Garoppolo, but then you look at but he doesn't put a team on his back and carry teams to victory either. So was it enough, right? So I've kind of been tiptoeing around optimism, and I'm never going to go all the way negative, because I'm just not that built like that. I'm an optimistic guy, and until they give us a reason to be critical and to be, let down, and you know what I mean, then I'll jump right in and be let down.
Sure.
And be critical of it all.
Sure.
But none of it's happened yet, so I'm not going to anticipate that's the way that it's gonna go down, right? So, but today, I felt a little bit of a shift in my silver and black heart, Jeff.
Well, yeah.
When you see, we watched the 3 main guys that we saw at the podium today: Devontae, Jimmy, and Max. Okay, Devontae, he's like so level, so like you can't get him off center.
Nope.
You can throw any question at him, and there's some dopey ass questions.
Oh my gosh, do better, guys.
Come on, guys. Like, really leading questions where it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look, let's move past the guy. Can we? Like, let's not lead our superstars into talking about him anymore. Lord have mercy.
Right. Right.
Anyways, so You can't get him off center.
Are you going to be able to catch a pass from someone that you haven't caught a pass from before? He's Devontae freaking Adams. I'll throw him the ball. He's going to come down with it.
Come down.
You know what I mean? Stop it.
Like, he's never caught a pass from anybody in his entire life.
Nope.
One guy.
Nope. Well, yeah, no. It's Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr.
That's it.
That's the only two.
Only two.
They made him. They made him who he was.
Since high school.
Oh, my gosh.
He's the only two quarterbacks he's ever caught from.
I know.
So, yeah, like Jordan Love probably never threw him a pass.
Heck no. No, Devontae wouldn't come down with that ball.
No way. Why would Jarrett Stidham throw Devontae Adams a pass?
Oh, wait. He did, right?
Oh, in a game, too.
Oh, my gosh. For like 2 or 3 touchdowns, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
What a concept. Huh. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could go work for the beat writers room. Anyways, I digress. Devontae Adams, man, he's so established in the league. He's so highly respected. Like, again, he's just like this rock.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So then you got that guy. Then you've got Jimmy, who is happy as shit to be there. Like,
you can tell, man. He is fired up to wear those colors, man.
He sure is, man.
Yeah.
He's smiling like crazy at the podium. He's jovial. He's jokey. All reports from all levels, from all the players, they're calling him a dog. They're saying,
yes,
Jimmy's a dog. Like, Jimmy is like, dude is a leader. And I don't want to talk about the other guy, so we'll just say that he's not a self-professed leader. Apparently, his actions are doing the talking. I know it's day one of practice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not getting all crazy here. But the idea that I can tell you I'm a thing, or I can show you I'm a thing.
Right.
Jimmy's just showing that he's a thing.
100%. And you know what? And Max talked about it, and I think we briefly brought it up just then. He hasn't touched a football in a minute. You know, he's been, studying, working with the coaches, working with players, hanging out with guys, going out on the town in Las Vegas with these guys, building relationships. This is the first time he's put on the pads and actually done something. And he's already talking shit to his own teammates. That's unbelievable. That's amazing. And something that we just haven't seen in quite a while. And so, a guy like Max, who's the leader of the team, he could have just not said anything. But he was impressed day one. And he's I'm not just saying it because he's my quarterback. That dude's a dog. Like, respect. I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it.
And I loved Jimmy. Like, it's like the first day in high school or the first day in jail, right? You pick the baddest dude in the world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Max Crosby's one of, if not the baddest dude on our football team.
Yeah.
And Jimmy comes out day one talking shit to him.
I love it. I love it.
Come on, man.
Yep.
I've been saying
that's Raider shit, right?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. This whole offseason, I've been saying that, like, I would love to see the Raiders embrace what the mystique and the history and the legacy of this organization is and make that whatever it can be, because it can't be the same. You can't be Phil Villapiano and Gene Upshaw with bars inside their forearms killing people. But what you can do is you can take that mentality and impart it in a way that makes sense for modern day NFL. Jimmy is doing that. Our quarterback is doing. I don't even know when the last time we had a quarterback that was like that had that scrap, that had that edge, that had that. I mean,
was it Gannon?
Probably.
Yeah.
I had to have been. I mean, because even Jason Campbell, even though he had like some pretty good time before he got hurt, like he was a pretty chill guy. He wasn't a big shit talker and stuff like that. So like, when you think back through all the other guys, I mean, Derek certainly wasn't that. Yeah, I can't think of the last time we had somebody that was just kind of fiery. But in that sense, Gannon. So, I'm all in for this, man.
And now people are going to call you out and compare that you're comparing Rich Gannon and Jimmy Garoppolo after one day of training camp. There's going to be those people drinking the haterade. But I'm with you, man. Like, I mean, I just love the fire, man. I love the passion. And like you said, someone that's genuinely happy to be here. I love it. I love it. He is fired up. He's got a smile ear to ear. He looks like a split watermelon. You know what I mean? He's fired up, man. Like what?
Bill King reference.
Well, yeah, absolutely. What more do you want? What more do you want, Raider Nation? If your quarterback is fired up and he's firing other people up and he's impressing people on his first day of class, like deal.
Well, and there's something else too that's interesting about that. And look, let's just call it what it is. even though I said I'm not going to talk about him anymore, but it's hard not to contrast. It's really, really hard not to come out of one thing that you've known for 9 years and then...
Well, we're looking to get clicks, so you need to talk about it.
Okay. we're all about clickbait.
Well, yeah.
I think that, and I thought this way before Derek was even let go or any kind of stuff.
Okay.
I thought that a fresh start would be good for him and the organization because Derek carried the burden of expectation so squarely on his shoulders. He wanted to please us fans and the organization and to prove himself and win more than anybody. That I'll never question. You know, he wanted it so bad that I think at times he was suffocated by his own expectation, by his own desires. You don't see that with Jimmy. You see a guy playing, or I don't know if he's going to play loose, but his presence is loose. It's fun. It's a kid's game. It's not this you don't feel the weight. I felt like with Derek, especially the last few years, you felt the weight on him. And I felt for him.
Yeah.
And I really did. And that's why I thought that, getting a fresh start somewhere else where ain't nobody in New Orleans, there ain't no affiliation to Derek Carr. Like, he's going to get a true fresh start. I think the same thing even with Jimmy. He's got a brand new fresh start. But I just think it's refreshing to see somebody that is not carrying any weight, is just carrying in a level of brevity and levity and all the other evities, to just be excited to be there, smiling. And
one felt heavy and the other one kind of has an aura. You know what I mean? Like, Jimmy just kind of had, I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is the kind of guy that, he owns that room when he walks in. And you can see they're panning across training camp and stuff. You see these videos and you see everyone around Jimmy, right? And he's signing autographs, he's doing all these things, but you feel like, even on the field, he's owning that field. Like, he's the guy, So yeah. All in all, I'm so fired up for number 10.
Me too, man. And listen, and I know, look, we'll get some. We put them in the comments, negative or positive. And I know that we'll hear it from some folks.
Well, yeah.
Oh my gosh, enough! You guys are bootlickers and you're blah blah blah. Look, man, that is QB1 for our favorite football team. And so far, yes, it's one day of camp. We are not losing perspective of that at all. But it's something so far so good.
Yep.
Box 1 checked.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now we'll see what tomorrow has to bring.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's healthy. His his demeanor is there. His energy is there. Okay, so far so good. Now tomorrow may bring another story, and you'll have a different take coming from us. But as of right now, we got no reason to not. We're going to sit up here telling you where you're going to go win the Super Bowl or anything like that. But I think that the idea, the mentality with having a lighter approach, this is a kid's game, man. Yes, it's emotional, and yes, these guys are badasses, and yes, but there is an element of, this is another thing about the Raiders. I talk about the legacy of the Raiders. The legacy of the Raiders, there's a lot of goof. Ted Hendricks rode a horse into training camp one time. You know what I mean? They did silly shit all the time. John Matuzak used to take remote-controlled trucks and tape M80s to them and drive them into John Madden's office and explode them. They did a bunch of crazy, silly things. They took their shit serious on Sundays. The rest of the time, they had fun with it, man. They enjoyed each other.
And that's what made him so good.
And that's what made him so good. And we see it even nowadays. When you see Fred Biletnikoff and Phil Villapiano in the same room talking to each other, whether they're reminiscent about the old days or talking about what's going on in their current lives, they have this bond, man, this connection. We saw it with Rod Martin. We saw it with George Atkinson. We saw it with these guys that, they have this amazing bond. And so I think, I don't know, again, I'm not trying to get all crazy here, but the idea that now this new version of the Raiders could start to build that a little bit, I'm encouraged by it, man. So anyways, let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about Max.
Yep.
We already kind of touched on it a lot about kind of his demeanor, but I really loved, and talk about this, Jeff, because we talked about it a little bit last week, his response when asked about the quarterback thing, which was fantastic, but then also, physically, what he's gone through. Talk a little bit about that, because this dude, man, we've been saying it for a few weeks now, I think is legit going to have a defensive player of the year type season.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he'll win it,
Absolutely.
but I think his impact will be that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so they asked him about the quarterback and stuff like that, and he said that he loves that people got to see that side of it and stuff like that. And he goes, I wish they'd mic me up all year. He goes, because then you'd really see some stuff. It'd be that every week, because he is that guy. He's that dog. He's got that old school Raider in him and stuff like that. And one more thing to tag on that quarterback that you talked about.
Yeah.
So I think
the
quarterback special on Netflix. So they talk about I think they bring in all three at the very end of the show or whatever. And I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it either, but I've seen the clips and stuff like that. Okay. And so they talk about, who do you think is the most underrated quarterback in the league? Oh, yeah. And so Mariota and Mahomes both say, it's Kirk Cousins. It's the guy sitting right here to my right. Kirk Cousins says, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. And he goes, I'm telling you, wherever Jimmy goes, he wins. And, say what you will about his, injury history and all this stuff. When he's on the field, he's a dog and he wins football games. And, even stupid ass Patrick Mahomes goes, I hope he doesn't do it in Vegas. Well, he might. He might whip your ass, Pat. You know what I mean? I hate to break it to you. So I mean, I think that would
be nice to at least split with them. Even just a split. I feel like if we're good enough to split with Kansas City, we're good enough to be relevant for the rest of the year.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I hope we fucking dog walk the Broncos in week
100%. 100%. And I think we will. But yes. So to talk about your other point there with Max, that dude just takes it to another level. Like I'm telling you, he is in season mode all year long.
Yeah.
All year long. He doesn't ever take a break. This guy lives, eats, breathes, sleeps Raider football and working on his craft in every aspect. What can I do to eat better? Am I putting the right things in my body? Am I sleeping the right way? Am I recovering the right way? Am I working out the right way? He's got all these things that he works on all the time. And he goes, and that's why I don't ever set goals for myself. He goes, I don't ever want to say, I want 100 pressers this year, because then if he goes out and does 80, then he's like, well, I let myself down. But then if he, exceeds that expectation, he's like, well, I'm setting my goals too low. Right, I feel like Max has just kind of got a daily goal, I'll be the best version of myself in every aspect of my life. I mean, he talks about, having his little girl with him. This is the first season that he's had, living that dad life and stuff like that. So he goes, so seeing his little girl, watching him at training camp and all that stuff. He said it was so cool. So, I mean, he's just, I don't know, man. I'm telling you, he has taken it to another level this year. It's going to be, other quarterbacks beware. This dude is going to be on fire.
Absolutely. I love it. He was talking about doing his MMA stuff, and he's like,
yeah,
when you're in a cage going against a freaking killer on the other side of you, you can't run.
Right.
Nowhere to go. And he was like, so when I get on the field now, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, when I get in the field now, I'm a hunter. When he said,
exactly,
hunter,
bro. Yeah, let's go, dude. Let's go.
Yeah, that was cool as crap, man. So yeah, I'm fired up for this. Great press conference today. Definitely go and check it out. Marcus Epps was also there to play very briefly though.
Yeah.
Didn't hear much from him.
They just kind of said what's up, and he was like, "All right, I'm out." Yeah. But he's a guy. But he's a guy too. I'm really fired up to see him, and he's gonna be rocking number 1, right? Isn't he rocking 1? I think he's wearing 1, dude. That's badass. I love having number 1 back here in the back. Yeah, that's cool.
Do you have any zeros? Because now you can wear 0.
I know. You know what? I don't know. Okay. The chat will know. Yeah.
I thought it'd be, and I like Divine Diablo's 5. I think that 5 looks badass, especially on a linebacker. But I thought Diablo.
Oh yeah.
0. I would. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But or Aiden O'Connell. You know what I mean? Something like that. Because that's why Jim Otto.
Ooh. How cool would that have been to have a quarterback as number 0?
Yeah.
That'd have been tight.
That's why Jim Otto wore 0-0 was because of
Otto.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I thought that'd be neat. If I was and I kind of, whatever, call me a hater. I thought it was kind of funny that he picked.
I love that he picked number 4.
I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, if I'm O'Connell, I might be wearing a, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I might even just have my jersey on the back just say Connell. Oh.
There you go. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So, all right, Raider Nation. Well, man, good. This is fun, man.
This is good stuff.
I'm fired up, dude.
Dude, me too, man.
Football is here.
Oh, it's here.
Right.
Yeah. We've got Todd Christensen days left till the first game.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, till week 1.
Shout out 46.
Yep, there you go.
And we've got so we're in camp. When's our first preseason game?
We will be there on August 13th.
The first one?
It's the first one, dude.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought because
no, it's the first one. It's the first one.
Oh,
it's the first one.
Because there's 3.
Yeah, there's 3. This is the only one at home.
And we play 2 on the road.
We play 2 on the road.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And what is it? It's the Cowboys and the Rams. I think we go on the road. Okay. Yeah. So no, it's the first one.
Okay.
And they talked to Jimmy about that today, because he's obviously he's not going to play in the preseason, but he's going to be there looking across the field, looking at his old teammates. So
that's right, and because they're going to do joint practices too.
Yes.
Okay. Now I think it was Mo talked about this. Mo or Scott, one of them brought up the idea that the training camp practices have so much more value to them than the actual games themselves.
100%.
And one of my favorite things to watch in the preseason is the joint practices, because they're effectively scrimmages, but they're in a controlled environment, so they don't have to worry necessarily about the injury risk that you normally would when you're going full on live fire in a game. They can set up parameters within those practices to where, yes, you're going full speed, but you're not extending plays. You're not, you know what I mean? You're thudding quarterbacks. You're doing that kind of stuff. I can't wait to watch the Niners and Raiders training camp scrimmages and joint practices. Those are going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that's usually too, it should be just about hot enough, and guys should be just about tired enough of hitting each other that they're going to get to scrapping with the other.
100%.
That's so fun, dude.
100%.
Jimmy G will be talking all the shit.
Devontae will. He's going to be, high pointing folks and making them look stupid. You're going to see Max Crosby spinning around and tapping Brock Purdy and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome, dude. I can't wait. I'm fired up.
Excited. Yeah.
Yep.
It's exciting. Yeah. All right, right next. Yeah, good stuff though. So let us know in the comments what you think, of course, and then please do us a favor also. If you're an audio subscriber, if you're a subscriber, just thank you for subscribing.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hit a like, a review if you're an audio subscriber. If you're not an audio subscriber, please look for Raiders Fan Radio on your favorite podcast service just by searching Raiders Fan Radio.
Subscribe and hit the auto download.
There you go.
That way you don't have to do anything. You just get a notification every time we do a show and it goes, "Hey, we're here again. What's up?" Yep.
And we're going to be diving into our busy season too. And that's we're going to have shows coming at you at least every week, if not maybe a rundown plus doing some live stuff.
100%.
When we do our live shows during the course of the season, we get such a flood of emails and phone calls that if we tried to do this kind of content during that, we run out. And
100%.
A lot of times Jeff and I will hop on, do a rundown, cover the news stories, and then we'll jump in on our live show and
just a sea of fans kind of show, so for sure. But but there's going to be a lot of stuff cooking. So we will be. So this will be the last rundown that we have for a minute, because the next 2 weeks we're going to be live. So we're going to be live a week from today at the Red Phone booth in Nashville. If
it's not live, we'll have it uploaded.
Absolutely, we're not sure what their internet is like and their Wi-Fi and all that. So our intention is to go live. But if we're not live, then it'll be just a real fun show because Lamont will be there, my wife will be there, Miss Valerie will be there, CPA Joel and his wife will be there and stuff like that. So it's good.
Get QB Jeff and Scarlett out there.
Yep, it'll be really fun. But then we will also be live the week before week 1 of the preseason, and that's where we're giving away a signed Bo Jackson jersey for the One Nation Foundation. So please, if you do anything, tell your friends to circle that date on the calendar. That's the one, because
that's our last big push.
We're really
the last big pushes.
That one could be a record night, and frankly, it should be because it's Bo. Because it's
in a way like
it's in a way a beautiful signature, and it's got the Bo Jackson sticker of authenticity on the back. It's legit, man. It's the real deal. And so so tell your friends, any other content creators, tell your friends and all that stuff. We're going to try to amplify this message because it's all going to the One Nation Foundation. So why not, right? And speaking of other content creators, we're also this season going to be doing a show on a semi-regular basis with Graph and Wasted.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, I'm excited for that. And shout out those guys, and much respect for extending the invitation. And we will gladly come and run it, man. That's going to be a fun time hanging out with those guys. And we just have a ton of respect for the shows that they put on and just it's always just fun hanging with those guys.
Oh, of course.
I'm talking about the Raiders.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And so that'll be definitely a good time. Look forward to that. And then so then the weekend of the game. We're going to be, I don't think we'll be going live that weekend, but you can see me and maybe both of us live on Silver and Black today.
Yes.
After the game is over. I might have to ask you to hold the camera if anything.
That's fine.
Okay. We can switch it onto a selfie at one point or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Scott Mo.
Yeah.
But so check us out there after the game live on their YouTube channel, and also support and listen to their show and the audio version of their podcast. But I'm sure we'll do some sort of recording-y kind of thing, like we did.
Even if we'll go live, just like live from a phone on YouTube or something like that, or live on Twitter or X or whatever now.
In the rooms, like after the games.
100%. We'll go live at the freaking Mandalay Bay pool.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So we'll have definitely a lot of stuff coming. Then we'll have a highlight video coming from our time with the Raider Dad folks. So tons of comment and content being produced by your best friends here at Raiders Fan Radio.
There you go. Hey, so speaking of which, more of them and less of us is a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's hit the Sea of Fans.
Okay. I forgot we had Sea of Fans.
Well, yeah. All right, you intro that. All right. All right, so welcome back to the Sea of Fans mailbag portion of the rundown, where yeah, there you go. So like we said, so more of you and less of us is always a good thing, and we appreciate the folks that reach out to us, and you can do that in a multitude of ways. You can either hit us up, call and leave a voicemail at our hotline, and that is 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. You can do that, and if you call and leave a message and we play it 3 times, you become a made man or a made woman here at Raiders Fan Radio. And you can also email us, and if you do that in undisclosed, uncertain, however many times,
call it an indefinite amount.
Just an indefinite. Okay, well, just until we decide to make you, then you just email us, and you could do that at get made, bitches. So you can do. But yes, but that email address is show. That is SHOW at RaidersFanRadio.com, and you do that. And a couple fine folks did that this week, and so we want to bring them to you right now. So first one. So evening, RFR crew, Murf Swag Jeff, and the F-bomb champion of the world, Michelle. Hooligan Nation here once again, screaming from flyover country, surrounded by Packers and Chiefs and Bears. Oh my! So here it is how I see it currently. We've upgraded our quarterback to the 2-foot model, which is a hell of an upgrade in the area of mobile quarterback. However, we cut our running game off at the knees. As of today, Josh Jacobs is leaving on a jet plane. Don't know if he'll come back again. Saquon signs for basically $900,000 more than the tag. Hardly any additional incentives. Rumor was the running backs were in cahoots to fake injuries at key moments of the season to prove a point. I refuse to put on that tinfoil hat. I'm liking the cornerback signing of Marcus Peters, 32 career interceptions, although his numbers have declined in the last few seasons. He was injured and then was coming off of an injury.
Absolutely.
So it would be all right. I know time will tell what happens next, and I stay optimistic through it all. But I'm a realist at heart, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't slightly nervous.
We're right with you.
Yeah,
100%. I think that's very well put right there.
Very well put. Vegas bookies have us the over under at 7.5, and the smart people say 6 games if we're lucky. Of course,
6.5, and they were right.
And they were right. They were right. So, of course, they also say the Dischargers and the Donkeys are going to be the winningest teams next to the Queefs.
What about Homeboy signing a freaking $50 million deal?
Good. You enjoy that. That, Chargers.
Bless it.
Yeah. Hopefully he can, work that hand to scrub that empty trophy case.
Oh my God, he's not Patrick Mahomes. Like, I get why you pay Patrick Mahomes $50 million. I even get sort of why you pay Lamar Jackson $50 million. I don't get why you pay Justin Herbert. He ain't that dynamic. I think he's right in line as being the overrated quarterback just like
and that's just like Phillip Rivers was, just like
man. And I'm not. And listen, and I've had some people at Twitter be like, "Well, you wish he was your quarterback." Yeah, I'm not saying he's not good. Like, he's pretty good, but is he highest paid quarterback in the league by $50 million? Good?
Nope.
No, man.
Nope.
I'm sorry. I don't see it.
Nope.
I don't see it.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. So of course they say the Discharges and Donkeys are going to be the winningest teams next to the Queefs. That's my point. What's my point, you asked? The point is they don't know shit, and neither do any of us for that matter. Camp has started and anything is possible. Let's effing go. Just win, baby. That is Hooligan Nation.
Hey, Hooligan Nation.
Yep.
Good job,
Yep.
buddy.
Much respect. Very, very good email.
And you know what? And much respect to Hooligan Nation. Dude supports our show. So amazing. He's a member. He's on the Get Made member list.
Yep.
You can do that too if you want. Raider Nation, just hit the join button. Costs you $5 and you get a bunch of cool emojis and badges and stuff. But Hooligan Nation is a member. He writes in letters all the time, supports us on the Twitters. Like, dude is really supportive of Raiders Fan Radio, and we can't appreciate you enough, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Evening, everybody. Hope you're all well.
Speaking of ride or dies.
There you go. As I type this, the Raiders senior players are returning to training camp for the new football year. It's been a slow, long off season, and speculation and discussion have been off the scale. Sadly, the division in Raider Nation still seems to be a thing, and the Pendejo list is growing faster than Phillip Rivers' nursery. But we finally get to see the guys back in Henderson and hopefully starting the journey to the playoffs. Yeah, I love it. Marcus Peters has now joined a great... That's so damn funny, man. Marcus Peters has now signed a great signing for us. He'll add fire and experience to the young DBs, and maybe Troy Hill will sign as well to add even more depth. We had positive news about Jimmy. We had positive news about Jimmy G and his medical earlier in the week, so we can be cautiously optimistic about him as well. There are inevitably still questions to be answered, but football is back and the world seems to make more sense. Yeah. Following on from last week's rundown, when you both chose the players to watch through camp, I have to say I'm looking forward to seeing Trey Tucker. I think this guy will be more than just a special teams player.
Some weight. Did you see that?
No,
The Raiders listed like the players that at camp that increased or reduced weight.
Okay.
He's one of the ones. He put on some LBs.
Oh,
man.
good.
Muscled up a little bit.
Good. I think this guy will be more than just a special teams player. I can see him being utilized in the same way when we were developing Henry Ruggs. I still think there's something about him that screams star player. On defense, it would be Amari Burney. The linebacker position still scares me, so if Burney can hit the ground running, it would take some pressure off, and he could become a huge asset. I'm with you on that too, Paul. Overall, though, the year 2 guys will need to start showing significant improvement, and if all that comes together, the optimism, even among the most negative of Raider Nation, could increase, even though they probably wouldn't admit it. One thing that is for sure is we're going to see a lot of good players cut over the coming weeks, which is a good sign as it shows the depth of our roster is still improving. Absolutely. I 100% agree. I found a couple of this or that questions I've forgotten to ask you, so here they are. Okay, over the recent years,
tell what it is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So you got to choose one, right? So both could be good, both could be bad, but you got to choose one. You got to hang your hat on one of them and let the other one walk away.
It's a this or that.
It's a this or that. So over the recent years, 2 dramatic Raiders wins have stood out for me. The 31-30 win against the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football, car to Crabtree after numerous penalties, and the win win in Vegas against the Chargers in 2022 that took us to the playoffs. Which did you enjoy more? So do we say it at the same time? Or do you pick a different one?
Oh, no, I know we have the same one.
Yeah, it's the Chargers. It's the Chargers, for sure.
That was amazing. And that's, Mosh and I were there. We were sitting with Trinidad.
Yep.
There at Allegiant Stadium. Lamont and Michelle were there. Cousin Sonny was there.
Yeah, everyone but Swag Jeff.
Everybody with you.
Everyone with me. Oh.
But, yeah, dude, that was... I heard somebody the other day on the Twitters. I can't remember who it was.
On the X? Is that what we're going to call it now?
On the X. And if you know who you are, please call it out so we can recognize you in this. Said that the most Oakland Allegiant Stadium has felt is the comeback win against the Ravens and the game against the Chargers.
There you go.
I wasn't at the Ravens game. Our buddy Graff was, and he told us about that experience. But I was at that Chargers game, and it was electric. It was absolutely insane, and not just because Playoff Willie was on the sideline, but it was absolutely an incredible environment,
100%,
an incredible game, and the way that we freaking from all the shit that we give him, from the smirk on Derek Carr's face when he calls the timeout.
Yep.
Brandon Staley's dumbass going from it on his own 20, like all the things in that game.
Yep. The Justin Herbert where he was going, I've never wanted a tie so bad.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
What
and
a dopey ass.
Watching you throw that deep pick to Casey Hayward, Justin, that was worth $50 million alone right there.
Yep, there you go. Get you some.
But absolutely. But that game was just absolutely incredible. And I've been to a lot of games now at Allegiant, but I haven't been to them all. Some people say every game's a takeover by other teams' fans. I can tell you this, that game wasn't. And I know there's only 6 Charger fans anyways,
right?
But there were only 2 of them there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And they were all getting shit talked on the way out of the
Well, yeah. Well, wasn't that
exactly?
There you go. Yeah. Didn't people follow him out of Allegiant Stadium, chirping him?
I love. You
love to see it.
Bridge, man.
You love to see it. You love to see it. So which one did you enjoy more? That's our answer, Paul. So, and then which of these 2 games did you find the most emotional? The defeat to the Jaguars in the last game at the Coliseum, or the win in Houston the day after Al Davis passed away?
Damn.
Yeah.
Ouch.
All right. So, which one's more emotional to you?
That's a really, really hard question. I'm going to go with the loss against the Jaguars, because while I'm the biggest Al Davis fan on the planet, I'm getting ready to get a tattoo of the guy's name on my body. I mean, I couldn't be more reverent for any figure that I never met than Al Davis. But that team wasn't that great. I loved the sentiment behind it, but it was, it was on the road. It was in Houston, shout out Michael Huff. There you go.
Yep.
Pick in the end zone. But the last game in Oakland was a culmination of an era. That second era back. And the Jaguars were not that great of a football team. There's a lot of reasons we should have won that game, and I'll save it. But, that was so disappointing to all the great, wonderful, amazing things, not just even from the second era in Oakland, but for the entirety of the Raiders era in Oakland. There were so many iconic, definitive things, from the Sea of Hands and, just
right.
The AFC Championship game in 2001 against the Titans, or 2002 against the Titans. So many amazing things happened in Oakland. And to have it end like that,
right,
with nachos and beer raining down on the field, and Oakland fan pissed off, and
right.
And I get it, why they were emotional.
Well, yeah, we were all pissed
because the Jaguars weren't shit.
They were terrible. They were terrible. Yeah, it was Gardner Minshew. I'm totally.
That's my fault.
I'm totally with you too.
But I get both of them though. That's one of those ones where there ain't no wrong answer in this. They're both emotional, just for different reasons.
Both emotional, and to tag that too, think of all the Raider greats that were at that last game in Oakland too. Yes. They had all that stuff at halftime, and they brought out all these legends and all these great players and all this stuff, and lit the torch, one last time, and all that stuff. And for us to kind of fall flat on our face at the end, shout out Keelan Doss, and Bay Area guy and Oakland guy that had the ball literally hit him in the middle of the face mask.
It was literally written to happen, to walk off.
Right.
By an Oakland guy, or
right?
Alameda, where he's from.
Right, so, right. I'm with you.
That was rough.
Yep. And finally, way back in the mist of time, I gave you my all-time Raiders team, made up of players that have been around during my fandom. The reason I mention it again is because apart from Charles Woodson and Bo, it was pretty much the Super Bowl 18 group, and I think it's about time that I'm able to replace some of those grand old names with some of the current group. Okay. So how about it, Raiders? How about we go and make some new heroes? Let's effing go. Stay safe, RFR family. Love your Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Pauly Award winner 2019 and 2022, Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, BRT Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, five-time times 2 +1 winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award. Paul. Hello, Paul. Paul. Hi, I'm Paul.
We appreciate you, Paul, and appreciate all the emailers tonight. All of you, too.
Yeah. Much respect.
And yeah, if you want to communicate with us here at Raiders Fan Radio, you can do that in a multitude of ways. But calling the show and writing us emails is the best way to do it. And then we will always feature those on Raiders Fan Radio, especially on the live show.
Yep.
Can't wait to get back to that here from so very many of you. We miss you guys. We miss hearing from you in the off season. And hope you enjoyed your summer. And now it's time to get back to
work.
Oh, man.
Get back to work.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. So, Jeff, that's all I got. Other than just thanking you for your support of One Nation Foundation again. We're going to still wait on these calls that we're expecting today, but hopefully we'll have some big news to share with you guys very soon.
Yep.
And just, again, please do us a favor. Support the One Nation Foundation. You can go to onenationfoundation.net. You can donate to it directly there. You can do super chats. You can buy our merch. You can go to our TeePublic site, which is on our website,
Yep.
RaidersFanRadio.com. Hit the gear button, and that'll take you to TeePublic. It can also take you to Fanatics if you want official Raiders gear, like what Jeff's wearing. If you go through our website, Fanatics gives us a kickback. It doesn't cost you anything extra.
Right.
Give us a kickback, and that money goes straight to the foundation. And then even if you can't contribute monetarily, we just ask again, subscribe to the audio podcast. If you watch us on the YouTube, go over to the audio podcast and hit the subscribe and the auto download. If you're an audio podcast listener, hit the subscribe on the YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything extra, and you ain't got to watch us twice. Yeah, you ain't got to watch us once.
There you go.
So just get those suckers out there and tell your Raider friends about us. And because again, 100% of the attention and the influence generates advertising, and that generates money for the One Nation Foundation. And so thank you guys so very much. We love you so much. Swag Jeff.
Absolutely. And thanks everyone that is in the chat here at the premiere on the YouTube. Oh, yeah. So much respect to each and every one of you. I think that's about it. So thanks for joining us for another episode of the Raiders Fan Radio Rundown, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. What else do I say? What happens in Vegas started in Oakland. Blah, blah, blah. All of our taglines. See you, bye.
Adios, malingerers.